Today, improving production throughput and training times has become more crucial than ever. Presenting Production Assistant, a scalable solution designed by award-winning woodworking industry leader WebCab to optimize your factory's capabilities. Production Assistant is fast and easy to implement, with no interference to ongoing operations. And thanks to it, new employees can be trained quicker than ever. Production Assistant is a manufacturing execution system that integrates seamlessly with and can import data from all major CAD/CAM engineering software. It offers a wide variety of modules that feature intuitive tools for employees and shop managers, such as damaged parts management, optimization of part tracking, flow and organization, 3D visual guides for cabinet assembly, and delivery control, featuring barcode or RFID microchip technologies. Automated sorting visually indicates to employees in which bin a part should be placed. Organize your shipping area with automatically generated packing lists that create easy-to-identify kits, so employees can be visually and audibly warned if they load a kit in the wrong truck. This way, you'll avoid costly delivery mistakes and service calls. Imagine a future where you can harmonize communication between departments and cut assembly times by up to 50%. Imagine a manufacturing system you can easily configure to your needs. Bring your factory to the next level today. Welcome to WebCab. Welcome to Production Assistant.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, to be here today. We're happy to have another session of a webinar and be able to show you a little bit of our product, explain a little bit what we do, be able to give you maybe some cues on what you can see. So today we're happy to really have like a presentation where we're going to virtually visit Medium Factory Tour that we call, where they did the implementation of WebCab one of the WebCab products being the Production Assistant. This is what we want to talk to you today and explain to you today. Before I start, in your Zoom meeting section, there is a Q&A section where you can type in your question if you do have some during the presentation. Sarah that is with me, she's going to be there to really spy on the question and ask me at the right moment the question for us to be able to answer. So don't be, it's not because we're not responding right now at that moment that we won't respond it later on. Always when we start our presentation, we always like to talk a little bit about WebCab because some people know who we are, but for others, they maybe don't know at all who we are, where we came from, where these products were think of, and why are they there today in the industry. Well, first thing it's really important to understand is that WebCab has more than 20 years of experience in the woodworking industry. And the reason why is that when WebCab started, we were at first resellers of CAD/CAM products. So we were selling a CAD/CAM product, engineering product into our market, doing the integration and service. As time passed by, our customers started to have specific need to respond to certain needs that they have. So we started to look around into the industry, started to look around into what was available as a software. And everything that was there to respond to the need was specifically more generic software. So nothing really built on for the woodworking industry. And this is where we decided to create our own platform, working with these systems with our customers. So we started doing the development of these systems, and it's not before really 2015 that we really started to promote more about the system that we have. So the system we're talking to, it's Production Assistant. Then we came with the development of the Planning Assistant. And today we're really happy also to specify that we have the Inventory Assistant that is also available into our market product that we have. So one thing is really important to understand, it's our philosophy. How do we do the development? How does it work? Well, 60% of our development comes from the industry needs. So what we do is that we listen to our customers, we listen to what the industry needs to really do the development of our software. And 40% comes from new technology, innovation, like when we're talking about RFID chips, when we're talking about LED light to help the users towards that, when we're talking also from methods of working into the factory that we can bring into our market to help you to be more efficient into that. So really important to understand is that we're not trying to be a generic general software to help on all other industry. We want to really be specified into the woodworking industry. That's our main goal, and that's how the software is being developed, is to listen to what you guys need, what the customer needs, to really respond to that. What is the industry we serve? Well, like we're explaining, we're there for the woodworking, we're there for kitchen, bath, architectural, any kind of thing that touches to the woodworking. This is our main target and goal that we worked on. Just to show you a little bit where WebCab is present actually into the world. So we're talking about the North America, we're talking a little bit in Europe, and we're talking also with the Australia market that we're there, being there present for the market towards this. So like we talked, our three main software: planning assistant, production assistant, and inventory assistant, that is available in what WebCab offer. One thing really important with this is that we're talking about three types of software that is there that are automatically connected together. But our goal and our philosophy is not that you have to buy everything from us. We believe in the aspect of the best of. What is the best of? Is being able to use the best software to respond to your needs. So you don't have to have all the software of WebCab that is offered. You can use the software that responds the best for your needs and use it as you need it through. What we do believe is to have these best software and making sure there's a connectivity with all of these platforms that work through. So we do have tools to help with this, the connectivity with others. And the reason why we're talking a lot about the best of is what is really becoming a trend towards that now, is that instead of having a system that's trying to do everything at once, and at the end that it's not perfect in every areas and it's good only in one area and you only use 30% of that software. Well, the key is to use the best accounting system that you need, the best, let's say, production management system as you need, the best planning system that you need, and let's make them all work together to respond to what you need. So that's what we believe a lot into that. So that's why we are offering three software that you are not obligated to have all of the three of them, and you can select what you need to respond it, or you can use all of them if they do respond to your need, and they're going to be connected together and work together as like if it's being one into that aspect going through. So this is really what we're talking about, and it's a lot of our philosophy of the best of. That's what we're talking. That's what we promote a lot into that brand. So we want to work with others. There's no issues with this, and make sure that the connectivity is there and the software that we want to offer towards that. So today, like we explained a little bit what we want to demonstrate to you. It's really the production assistant software. We do have some webinars that were done, and there are going to be some others that's going to be done on the other platform software. So just stay awake. And if you want to have more information about the other product, just write to us. It's going to be a pleasure towards that. So today, production assistant, like we said, we're just going to virtually visit medium factory tour that we're going to go through. So when we're talking about that medium factory tour, we're talking about a 36,000 square feet of production floor plan. We're talking that there is a total of 65 employees, and inside of these 65 employees, there's 40 that's really attached to the production level at this point. And one thing that's really important with this is that 50% of their employees come from outside. So they import people that really help into the shop floor to work. So it's people that doesn't know nothing about the woodworking industry. And with the software, it helped a lot into their growth of the learning curve. And these people also stay for 1 year and 1.5 years. They have to go back into their country. So it's another bunch of people that comes in. So it's always repetitive, new aspect of employees that comes in. So how does the software help them to be more efficient, fast? Well, that's what you're going to see towards that. We're talking also that they're connected with the Microvellum CAD/CAM system, and they do produce 1,000 box per week. That's their goal of production that they're being towards that, 1,000 cabinets per week. Towards that. So there's 2 nesting machines, 1 nesting really dedicated to the remakes that we're going to see towards the system. How does it work with this? 2 edge banders and 2 doweling machines of the factory that we're going to visit towards that. So at first, let's start with the first aspect. It's going to be at the CNC machine. See a little bit how the system worked for them at this area.
Here we are at the CNC station. What you're seeing behind me is what we call the nesting table, where it's the load and unload of the CNC and automatic labeling. All the nesting, all the optimization, and the automatic the labeling being done Everything is sent down from the CAD/CAM system that they use right here from the office. Now, with Production Assistant, what we want to explain today is Production Assistant is used in this facility to be able to track the project everywhere into the shop, and knowing in real time where the project is and at what station. First thing we must understand with Production Assistant is that there is no library. What we're taking in is directly your data coming out from your CAD/CAM system, and we're importing it directly into the system. So what you're seeing right here is all the work orders project coming in from your CAD/CAM system. You're seeing all the products and all the loose items that has been, again, generated for a specific work order. Now, what we're asking to the operator at the CNC is that he's having what we call a start and an end scan sheet, okay? So the operator comes in and only scans his barcode, the first barcode, when he starts a project into the CNC. Then, when he completes the project at the CNC, what he's going to do is does the last barcode scan right here, and automatically the system will update the project to let you know that the project has been completed. Why we also ask him to do a first scan is that will also allow the production manager to know that the project has been started into the machine. How can he see that? Well, when he clicks on his project status, into the screen, you're going to see at the CNC, it turns out to be yellow, letting me know, letting the production manager know that the job has been started at the CNC. What you're seeing also at the project status is all the steps that the CNC the job has to take on his repair towards this level. So you have a progress that shows you the total amount of parts and product that needs to go at all of these stations and what has been completed or not for each of these stations. Other little things, by using the scan in and scan out sheet, well, automatically we're also tracking the time that it takes for a project to be loaded into your factory. So you're knowing how much time it takes for all these elements. Now, last little thing we want the operator to do is if there is a damaged part, we want them to specify what part has been damaged into the CNC. How do we do that? Is that we're taking a part that's been broken with the label being placed by the CNC and just need to scan its unique barcode on it. Automatically, the CNC the system will send me down directly to the right component and specify me that's the part I want to call to be damaged, okay? Why do we call damage into the system? Well, at least we don't have to walk around with a piece of paper or a sheet to ask the engineer to do the part. Automatically, we're going to inform everybody at the same time that there is a damaged part. Other little thing you're going to see towards that is this is the real 3D drawing arriving directly from your CAD/CAM product that you have. Automatically, we redraw what has been done by that 3D product from the CAD/CAM system. So there's no library or no elements like that. So if you add in a shelf or a specific cutout, automatically that's what you're going to see into your drawing right there. Other little thing, as you can see, if I go in, I can hide components and see the details of these elements directly into the system. So if there's a specific part or notch or something, I can go in and see this element. I can also see what is the machining on this part if I wanted to specific details to see if that part looks like. Now, once that's done, I'm just going to go in, scan my barcode to load up the right part again, call it as being a damaged part. You're going to see a list of reasons. All these reasons can be personalized. I'm going to select the reason why it's been broken, and automatically I'm going to have orange bar right here, and everywhere down into the shop, they will see that there's an orange damaged part. By selecting that damaged part also, it sends down a signal. It could be to the office, or in this case, it would be a CNC repair station that is there to receive that pop-up signal that goes. Okay, so let's go to the next station.
Just by the way, the sound will get a little bit better on other station near the CNC was a little bit harder towards that. But the main aspect right here, what we wanted to show, first little thing is that we're taking the information directly from the CAD/CAM system. So there's no entering back the information into the production assistant software. We're grabbing really what has been designed and produced from the CAD/CAM system and re-put it directly into production assistant to share the information about everyone. Now, we were showing also at the CNC that we were able to do what we call the scan in, scan out, as it was shown right there. Well, this is mostly just to have an advancement of the project where it goes through by scanning in, scanning out, that you can do at other station also if you want to. But we do have tools that allows you also to track parts by parts what is being happening at the CNC. So we have a smart label option that display to you the optimization result and can print out part label if needed. If you don't have some from your CNC, you can have it from there, and also update the status of the part as we go on, and can allow also the operator to know how to group the part out of the CNC. So we didn't show it today, but that's an option that we do have at that level of the CNC again, to be able to track there. Next thing that we want to show you now is the warning center. So we put in really a damaged part, comes back directly to the warning center. And in this case of the CNC, they do have a dedicated area to have the remake done when there's a broken part, and managing their service call also. So we're going to explain a little bit the process they're doing at that machine.
We are actually what we call the remake station, okay? In this company, they have a specific station that is only used to do remake parts or service parts called from outside. So what happens is that they do not touch at the two nesting base station that we saw on the other side, because they only cut sheets for the job. So if there's something broken, it has to go through this station right here. Now, the way they manage the remake part at this station, it's pretty much easy. Remember, I call the damaged part. Automatically, it sends back a signal to this station right here with what we call the warning center. If I open up my warning center, I can see the list of all my damaged parts that was punching into the shop, so I can know what's the job, what is the reason, the date and time, the station reference, etc. that goes through. This station's only receives damaged part in that warning center. Automatically, the operator can know also what exactly is the part, what is the description of the part, its dimension, whatever he needs towards that. The process of how they do it now is that they load up the list of all the damaged parts. They can go in, select them all to reprint the label towards that, but I'm just going to do one. So I'm going to select the one that we called as being damaged at the CNC just before that. Afterwards, I'm just going to say, okay, I'm doing the remake of it, apply it, and I want to print a label of it. So automatically the system will print down a label for the remake part inside of that. As you can see, we put in a little marker to say that this is the remake part, and directly everybody can know that this is the second part of remake part that's been done. Second thing, in this case scenario, we're using also that barcode to load up the program on the machine. So what happens is that the CAD/CAM system from the office sends down a bunch of programs every time they process their job. So they send to that machine all individual programs for every part. So in this case, when there's a damaged part called in, the operator prints up the label and just goes in, scans the barcode, and automatically the CNC does the remake of that part. It's done one by one, but they have the time to do it at the CNC since it's dedicated to do that. So they scan the program, the machine runs the part, they place the label on it, and then with a little signal on side of that, they know which station to bring it back, because we specify, as it's been called at the CNC, the edge bending, so they know where it has to go back. Once we do that remake part, automatically also, it removes the damaged part and gives us a yellow signal like this to specify that the part is coming back. So everybody knows on the factory that the part has been remade and it's coming back towards your process.
So WebCab as production assistant, his main goal inside of that is really to make sure that we have a communication with everybody. So the key here is that when we put something damaged, everybody's informed that there's something damaged, or if you're missing something inside of that, not starting to work on that product that you can complete, but also not walking back into the engineering office and say, hey, you need to remake that part or that kind of stuff. You just punch it in and the warning center comes in. The warning center can be received into the engineering department if you want to, for them to do the reoptimization. But like in this case, it can be sent back to the guy at the CNC where they can manage their own remake part directly. But WebCab does not send the program to the CNC. It's really done towards the CAD/CAM system. Like we're explaining here, in that case, when they push down to production, well, at the same time, there's an individual program, per part that's being thrown down to the machine. So we already know what is the program to load on the machine. So when there's something broken, the operator knows what program to load on the machine, loads it up by the information into the WebCab stickers and product, and then they can do their remake part like this and be able to tell everybody that the part has been resent down to production. So having the luxury to have the dedicated CNC like this will help a lot to be faster on the remake. But if you do not have like the dedicated machine like this, you can still do that same process into your own CNC, your single CNC that you do have, where you can have the alert being told inside of that. I think you have a question, Sarah.
Actually, Joe, if you could just touch, we do have some US customers here, and we're talking about a lot about production assistant. If you could just maybe clarify production coach, production assistant.
Yeah, in fact, production assistant, production coach, it's the same software. It's just two brands really dedicated differently. So, and one of our partners is selling towards the brand production coach, and the production assistant is also available towards that. But in the fact, in the background, it's really the same software. It's just two brands, depending of who you're dealing it with or working with towards that. But at the end, it's the same power, if you want, in the background towards that. So I wish this responds to your question. Okay, so let's go to the next step, the status information of what we want to see, track a little bit, know where a project is, have the information of where the project is towards your shop there.
When we're talking about the production manager being able to have real data in real time, he can know exactly where the project is in the factory. And we're talking about production manager, but it can be also people in the office. Anytime that you want to search where your project is, you're able to go in and select your project that you want and go see what exactly it is the project status of your work order. Where are they into the factory, depending on all the stations that you're measuring your job inside of that. One thing interesting is that you can go inside a status and see exactly what are the products that are missing to complete your work order. And if you need to, also see all the details of your parts to see if something is broken or something is damaged at that level of thing. So that's what we talk about, having the project status in real time of everything that you need to follow up. You can see what are the parts completed, how much part we're supposed to go there, and what is, again, missing or needs to be complete overall of your job that you're seeing there. And if you have back order active or damaged part active in that work order.
So what we just saw right here is what we call the project status screen. The project status screen helps us to know in where area what has been complete towards our station. It's totally personalized. So you can see right here, there's a lot of station. You don't have to have that much of station. The key is to be able to adapt it towards your key points where you want to track inside your factory. Where are your key points benefits to know if the parts are being complete or not towards your factory that you have. So you can have 4 areas of tracking, doesn't matter towards that. Also, what's really interesting is that we do have the knowledge of the routing level of things. So the routing allows us to say, hey, in certain projects, I do have some finishing, so the finishing station will be shown, but in other projects, I do not have finishing, so the finishing won't be shown into that workstation. It will also show the total amount of parts that you need to respond to treat in that workstation at that level with the routing aspect that you can give. Yes, Sarah.
So we have someone here that's using cabinet vision with S2M, and they're asking, where does the nesting take place? Back at the PC that nested originally, or can production nest parts from a PNC file?
Yeah, just to be sure. Production assistant does not do any nesting or does not do any optimization or code for the machine. Okay, so we're really taking the information out, let's say from S2M, the optimization that's being done. We can take that information and display it to use it into our smart label module to really show you the result of the nesting that goes through. If there is a remake, well, and you have multiple remake parts, if we're talking about that level, well, these remake will be done into S2M to be sent the code down to the machine, and production assistant will be there mostly to treat the information that the part has been remade for the shop floor. I don't know if this responds to your question or this was related to that. If not, just type it more information, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you have another one, Sarah, or?
Not at the moment, thank you.
Not at the moment, okay. So next step, we're going to go to the sorting area. Explain a little bit the sorting area. The sorting can be used in different level, different aspect if you want to. It allows us to really sort items, group together to be regrouped for the next working area. In this case, we're going to show you the sorting before the assembly. Like I said, it could be done at the drawer level, it could be done at the door level, it could be done at the face frame level if you want to really say that to regroup the face frame together per cabinet if you want to. But it can even be done, sometimes people are going to sort the drawer parts component before they assemble the drawer box. So it can be done in that area. Or even sort them before finishing if you want to in this level. So it's just a wild of type of information that we can do with sorting, but in this case, we're really showing you in a direct specific area like that.
So we are actually at the sorting station. What's happening at the sorting station is to simplify and organize the parts for the assembly. So parts are being cut at the CNC, getting edge band with the edge banding machine and getting doweled. And then they're moved forward, in this case scenario, into a mobile cart where all the parts are not grouped by product, but really are messed up, if you want, in a chaotic way. So what we want to do is scan a component and assign them to a specific bin. Every bin that you see represents a product. So the key with this is to make sure that we have all the parts grouped together, being a product, to simplify the assembly station so they don't have to search around and try to figure out what part they need for that product. Everything gets organized into that level. A lot of times we see that station also, the sorting station, combined with doweling station. So when they do the doweling at the same time, this is where they sort. In this case, it's been moved forward with a traveling cart the way they wanted to do there. So again, like I said, every bin represents a product, and you can see the rack that you're seeing there being displayed on the same screen. So what it allows us to do is everything that is in blue is telling you that it's a work in progress product. So we're starting to sort components inside. We do not have all the part in to become in green. So when it's green, that means all the part of that product, it's ready. Everything's inside. You can start assemble the items on the other side. You're making sure that you control everything before you move down to the next station. So again, this reduced time of searching parts. We know exactly if we have everything in our hands, and we're controlling also the rules on the other side of how the assembly can be done. Interesting thing, if I go inside my bin, I can see exactly what is a part I'm missing, and if there was a damaged part, I would see what is damaged as a part inside of that. So the way it works, pretty much easy. I'm just going to grab a part, any one in my list I have to do, and when I'm going to scan my barcode of it, automatically the system will flash in the green or red level, or with the LED light, align me the bin that I need to place the bin inside. Now, the LED is suggested because it's simplifying, again, the work for the operator, since he knows exactly in what bin to place the part inside of that. So again, I'm just going in, taking a part, I'm scanning my barcode inside of that element, and automatically the bin will turn here in blue to let me know where to place these parts inside of that. So let me take another little part right here, just to scan it for you guys, and automatically it will turn into a blue level, the blue bin, to allow me to place the part inside of that. So again, the key point here at the sorting rack is taking chaotic parts in a different way and regroup them by product into a bin to make it easier for the assembly line as we're going to go to the next station to see that.
So really sorting, as you're seeing, like we said at the first when we saw at the beginning, what's happening is that every part has a barcode into it. So we're placing a barcode on the label. That's really important if you want to do sorting like that, because they have to have a unique ID information. So we have that barcode on it. And automatically when you scan it, we can assign directly to the bin, know exactly in what bin it goes into that, making sure that we regroup all these parts as being a product and making sure that we have everything in hand before starting to assemble it. So we don't search around or trying to figure out where the parts are at the assemble. We're just building the box as we go through. As you can see right there, we showed it really with what we call the fix rack. That's a mentality that we can use. When we're talking about the fix rack is that there's an open side on the front and an open side into the back. So it's really a push and pull system that goes through. But if you want to work with mobile carts, doesn't matter. The system is able to work with mobile carts also. So you're not stuck to have that fixed rack if you don't want to. We can still work with mobile carts with the sorting rack with this. Yes, you have a question, Sarah?
Yes. How does sorting know if a part needs to go to finishing or can go directly to assembly?
That's going to be part with the routing aspect. So when I was talking a little bit sooner towards that is that we can define a routing of where things go. Now, if a part needs to go to finishing, when it needs to be finished and when it needs to be, I don't know, finished at the edge, when it goes to finishing, come back to the sorting, could be that way that it goes into that depending on the process. That's one way to be able to do it. Some people will say, yeah, well, my product needs to go in finishing. Perfect. On the sorting out that I'm going to explain right now, we can put a special color to allow you to know that when it's this color, it's going to be being assembled and thrown down to the finishing. Or we can also use instruction that we're going to talk a little bit later on to say, hey, that product needs to go to the finishing. And we can also, with the routing, what we were explaining a little bit sooner, block some steps before it gets to another step. What I mean by there is that, I don't know, let's take a part, scan it. It was supposed to go to finishing and it was not scanned at finishing. Well, the system will block me and say, hey, that part needs to go to finishing. You didn't do the finishing area on it. So we can add that kind of control if we want to inside of that. But really, this is the routing aspect that allows you to do that kind of element going through. So I wish this responds to your question also. So now let's go on the other side of the rack. So again, what we're showing here, it's really a fixed rack with the push and pull out system. But again, the sorting out can be used with mobile carts if you want to also to control the sequence at that level.
We're actually on the other side of what we call the sorting station, okay? So on the first step, we were in what we call the into the rack, and now we're in what we call the pull of the sorting rack, where I'm taking out the items that are ready to assemble onto my assembly line. So what you're seeing right here is green lights that allow me to see what product or what bin is ready to get assembled, okay? So easy, the operator sees the green light, goes in, takes all the parts that he needs to assemble it. And what's interesting is once he gets all the parts out, he just needs to scan the barcode that is right there. So you should see on the screen what they have to do with that product as they're going to work there. Interesting thing, even if I have a lot of products that are ready to get assembled, well, we can control the numbers of lights or bins to be able to assemble. So we can control with the system the sequence and what the assembly will work with their product. The key with that is to say to make sure that they always work with the most priority job than the other one as they go through. Also, you can give priority like saying, hey, I want you to start always to assemble by the base cabinet, then the upper cabinet, then the tall cabinet. You can select the sequence of what you want them to work on, and automatically once a product's going to be ready or start to be assembled, another bin's going to turn green to let you know which one is the next one to work on that item that goes there.
So important key thing, I know it told a little bit, but it's really controlling the sequence of what we want to work on into the assembly. I think that's the most important aspect towards that, is that we're making sure that we complete the first job before working on the second job. So, and if we even, let's say we're working on job one and there's a damaged product. Yes, we're going to give product of job number 2 to always keep the assembly line running. But when the parts come back from that job number 1, we're going to prioritize it back to make sure that we're able to complete that job in the right order. And you can have other type of sequence that you can give into the second screen monitor like this that's being thrown. But really, we're controlling the sequence. And plus, we're giving them also a green light only when we want to make sure that everything is complete with this. We also have what we call the synchronization possibility that's possible with the second screen. What that means is that, let's say I do sorting at the door area and I do sorting with my drawer box also. So what's happening is that once I complete my drawer box, I scan it, sort it. We're going to see it also here a little bit later. When I complete my doors, sort it into a rack. Then when the drawers and the doors are ready, I'm going to give the green light to say you can pull out the carcass of the cabinet. So we can also add that kind of element if we want to synchronize this department together to have the green light to throw out the product into light. You don't have to, but it's a possibility that it's there to synchronize these items. It could be face frame doors, drawers, and a cabinet to make sure that everything is synchronized. So when everything is ready, then the assemble has a green light to start assembling at that level. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next step, the pre-assembly. So there's different ways or different lines of production that can be done with when we're talking about assembly. Some people will do their pre-hardware, install the hardware before storing it. Some people will have somebody that's going to pre-install the hardware, clean up the parts before building the carcass, and another person that will put on the doors and drawer fronts. Some people will have one person that does all, every of these aspects work with production assistant. We're able to adapt depending on what you want. In this case scenario, what's happening is really divided in 3 steps. What we're going to see is that we're going to install the pre-hardware on the first step. We're going to build a carcass on the second step, and we're going to finalize with the drawers and doors on the third step into that process. So our first step is really installing the hardwares and cleaning up the parts out of the sorting rack.
We're actually at the station that we call the pre-assembly. So just before, all the lights were showing up what bin to take the product out. So the operator goes in, takes all the bins that he needs, takes it into his table, and then every pile that you're seeing right here represents a product. So they're just going to go in, scan the barcode of any part of that product that they need to, and automatically it will show you up directly on the screen what is the product that you need to work on, what is the drawing, but also shows you all the hardware that needs to be pre-installed at this station right here. So they can see the numbers of hinge, what type of shelf clips that they would need, or that kind of information that goes through. So they have all the information directly onto the screen. So again, we're also eliminating a lot of paperwork because everything is in front of them for them to know. Other little thing it does is once they scan the item, it also updates the items in the system to allow the production manager to know at what level the job is or how much product he's been done of that job. So he's getting a project status of where he is with these items into the line. So once the hardware is installed, then being placed back into the pile of the items and go back to the end of the line for the assembly station to get the product being assembled.
This is where we're talking about the strength of following the CAD/CAM information. So we're taking the CAD/CAM information and we're able to display it directly for the pre-assembly person right there. So she knows exactly what hardware, the quantity to place on. They have all the list of the information right there. So you don't have to have another sheet of paper where they're gonna find out and all the documents to know what is the hardware needed in that product or look into the plans. Everything is really detailed. Once they scan one of the part of the product, they have all these information. The other thing that we're able to give them is possibility to have instructions. So having pop-up instructions allow you to control some certain special things. Like, let's say sometimes you have simple hinge, you have regular hinge to install, sometimes it's gonna be soft close. So we wanna make sure that they don't do that kind of error towards that. So you can have pop-up to advise them. I have a customer, what they did is they build up, let's say, a blue box and a red box. So in the blue box is all the soft close, and in the red box is all the regular box, the regular hinge. So what's happening is when they scan, it says it says as a pop-up, pick up the hinge in the blue box. So they're just grabbing the blue box and install it. They don't need to know what's the soft or not the soft. They're just grabbing the information right there. Like sometimes, as easy as we can say, sometimes you need to put a carpet into your drawer box and sometimes not, or little things like that. So you can have pop-ups when it's something special like this that the people will have in front of them. Hey, don't forget to install this and that product. Please confirm it's done. So we're really eliminating a lot of these small errors where today people have to look around into their plans or document to find it out. Yes, when you have a lot of experienced people, they're good. They know everything in their hands. But we know the reality today is that a lot of these people are going out. And today with the new person or the lack of employees, well, we have to hire people from outside of whatever that they don't know the woodworking industry. So we have to make it as simple as possible for these people to have the less mistake going through with this. So really having the information out of the CAD/CAM that way and putting out some instruction really helped to reduce that kind of development. So now we're jumping in at the second step, the second phase of the assembly, where we're going to build up the carcass of the product.
In this factory that we're visiting today, there's 3 steps being done for the assembly elements towards that. There's a first station that we just saw that installing all the hardware, the prep assembly that we call towards that. The second step is really building up only the carcass of the product that's being done. And the third step that we're going to see a little bit further is the installation of the doors and the drawer box into the cabinet in this element. So what's happening is that the parts are going through the conveyor and directly from the assembly station. So there's 2 stations of assembly that we're seeing there. The operator goes in and scan any part of the product to have it display on the screen what has to be built. So that's a 3D visualization of the product that needs to be built directly for that cabinet, that product right there. And what's important to know is that if there is a special thing to do or special hardware again to do on that product, well, they will have an instruction that will pop up to let them know that there's a special thing to do in this product with the specification of what has to be done into this product. what that avoids is having all these comments written down into the documentation or that kind of stuff. It just shows into the screen to let them know if there's something special to do on this product. Second thing that we want to do when they scan is also to have the real-time tracking of where a job is. So again, the production manager has in the screen the real project status of where all the items are for his work order. It allows you also to have an updated dashboard. So your dashboard can give you all the results of what's your objective, are you achieving your objective of your goal or not with your assembly lines or your item being scanned into the factory for the lines or the project that you're working on.
Other thing really important also is that when you're seeing here, build up the carcass, we're showing up the 3D drawing, all these information. A lot of people will ask me, hey, Joe, do we have to scan all the parts when we're there at the assembly? The answer is no. You just need to scan one of the parts right there, and automatically we're going to bring up the right product. You don't even have to select what job you're in. We're automatically know which product, which job, what part it is when you scan it. Reason why, when we talk a little bit sooner about that unique barcode that we're placing in, it's like if we're giving a unique ID serial number for every component that you have into your factory. So when you're going to scan it, automatically brings you directly to the right product or right item for you to be able to display it. Yes, Sarah, you have a question.
Yes, so we have someone wondering how we render the 3D drawing in Production Assistant.
Okay, so in fact, what Production Assistant is doing is he's reading out the database of your CAD/CAM system. So when you draw, let's say in software X, well, you're able to draw what you need, and then generates the information to the database. Production Assistant grab that information and redraw automatically that product into his own system. So you don't have to push it. You don't have to have a library of things. We're really reading what has been designed into your CAD/CAM system to reproduce it directly into a WebCAM interface, Production Assistant interface. One thing that's important though, we did decide it as a business that we're not showing the shelf holes or the doweling holes, that kind of stuff. We really wanted to show the outside shape to really make it as simple as possible for the people into the shop to visualize what it looks like. But with the CAD/CAM system, you do generate some machining picture that we're also able to display. We're not showing it there, but we have a button where you can see the part machining if you want to for every of these parts being built there. Now let's jump into the next step, the drawer assembly. At the drawer assembly, we're going to use again the sorting area. So we're seeing another way of doing it with the sorting area. So once the drawer box is completed, it's going to be scanned and sorted into a rack to simplify a little bit later the process.
So we're actually at what we call the drawer box station. What's happening here, this is the area where all the drawer boxes get assembled together. So what we're doing with Production Assistant today is that we want to organize and sort the drawer box into a specific rack, into a bin, okay? So every bin will represent the drawer box that needs to be placed for a product. That will simplify the process into the assembly line for them to know where to grab the right drawer box that goes on the right product. So what the operator needs to do is that they're going to assemble the drawer box, and once the drawer box is getting assembled, they're going to scan any part, just one of the part of the drawer box, and automatically the system will flash in red to allow them to know in what bin to place that item inside. But also will register into the system that the drawer box is ready for the assembly line. That's also another trigger for the assembly line to start knowing that they can start to assemble these items, because we know that we have all the drawer box ready. So that avoids to have unfinished product into the line because you're missing some doors or drawers or even some drawer box into your line. So it gives the signal to the assembly line that they can start to assemble the product, because the drawer box are ready for them into the line to complete the item as they go through. So again, the operator assembles, scan any part of that drawer box, and automatically it will show them where to sort them and give the signals to everyone that the drawer box is ready for the product that we're going to start to assemble.
So we're really organizing the drawer box into a sorting rack, really making sure that everything is ready, everything is there. And like we said, in this factory, what's happening is once the drawer box is ready, well, it's synchronized with the other carcass rack where we're putting all the cabinets together. So it has to have the drawer box ready for it to show green. So it's not even if I just put the parts in and I have all the parts there for the assembly to start assemble. No, we have to make sure that the drawer box are ready also for that cabinet to go into that line. This is how it's set up for this customer. You don't have to if you don't want, but it's a possibility to be there towards that. Now, once the dryer box is ready, the carcass go down the line. We're going to see right here, how do we synchronize the two works together when the cabinets arrive, and how to know what dryer box to put into the cabinet.
Now we're at the stage where we want to install the dryer box directly into the product. So the product that has dryer box are getting shipped in this area right here. What happens is that the operator needs to scan any barcode on the product, where he's going to get an instruction directly into the screen that's going to tell them in what rack and what bin to grab the right dryer box that goes into these products. Just before, we were sorting these dryer boxes, and the system was specifying what bin to place them. Now, since we know in what bin they are, when they scan, the system will let them know, well, you have to take the dryer box that you need in bin 1, 2, or 3, let's say. So you don't have to search around and try to figure out what dryer box you need to install on these products. You're reducing some errors that you can do, and reducing also time of searching the parts. It makes it a little bit simpler, the job that has to be done in this area right here.
So really the key here, when we're talking about sorting at different areas, well, now we sorted directly the dryer box into that rack. We can sort the doors into a rack if we want to in that type of line. So what's happening is that when we're scanning that product, the instruction that shows you tell you, hey, you have a dryer box in bin A1 and bin A2 and bin A3. So you're making sure to grab the correct dryer box that goes into that product, or even the correct door that can go to that product. So you don't have to remeasure to see if it's the right dryer box or the right door that goes into that, or maybe have mistakes. Everything is organized and tell you the information of how to do it. So that's a possibility that can be done also. So really organize the information in that way. We're doing a similar process right here with the door installation, a little bit different in their case area, but just to explain to you how it's going to work now with the door department. It could have been done the same way as the dryer box, also if we wanted to.
We're actually at the door station. So what happens is the product comes down the line. Automatically, the operator will scan any barcode of that product. The system will tell them if they have to go get the rack or not at the door area, first station that we saw when we were receiving the doors, and then automatically will specify in what bin they have to take the door to assemble and install the doors directly into their product. So once they take the door, they drill down the door hinge that they need to, and automatically will install the door into his product line. The system will then allow the project status to know that the door has been installed into the product and going down the line to be the next station being wrapped up for the product being wrapped up over there.
So really in this process, what they decided is that they're drilling the doors as they're scanning the product. So they're scanning the product comes in, and then they're going to drill the dimension of the door. We could have even have, if we wanted to, an instruction that could tell the person what is the dimension that they need to drill the doors into that. That information comes in from your CAD/CAM system, but it's possible to have that information to say, hey, you have a hole at 4 inches and from the bottom of the door, and from the top at 6 inches if you wanted to. So you can have that kind of information that goes to tell them towards that. So really here, they don't resort the doors to go into the cabinet, but they drill the doors as they're going through with the cabinet being tilled. So, but even there, everything gives them the information when they scan, and every information is directly into the screen without needing to search into documents or try to find the information. Everything is locked into that screen coming out from the CAD/CAM system. Next step, let's jump in now really at the loops items. How do we create kit? I think it's something really important to really control creating these kit. And in this case, also being able to generate product labels if we want to into our process.
We're actually at what we call the wrapping station. So the main goal of what we want to do at this station is be able to specify when the cabinet is ready for getting wrapped, and as it goes through to that machine. So what we want the operator to do is directly just to scan any barcode, like we do for the other station. Just go in, scan a barcode of a part, but what we're going to generate this time is what we call a product label. The main goal with the product label is to be placed on the wrapping that's going to be done on this machine, so we're able to identify them and be able to scan it as we're going to go for shipping area. Second little thing we want to do is also manage what we call the loose items. So we can have all these toe kicks and the fillers that are going to be wrapped together. So we want to create into the system kit elements. So by clicking on a button, the operators can specify a kit number and then start scanning all the toe kicks and fillers that will be part of that kit and generate also a kit label. What that's going to allow you is once we arrive for shipping or other elements, well, we're going to be able to scan just one barcode that's automatically going to update all that package of information that's going to be attached to that kit. And that label will also contain all the information about what's part of that wrapping that we just did together. Makes it easier for shipping, makes it easier for all the other elements that you want to follow up, even for the on-site, as they're going to be able to take the installers the package of these things and know exactly what's inside of that kit element that we just created at that point.
So really, like we show right here, managing kit, I think it's something really important that helps a lot with the information, also for the people on into the installation field, but knowing what's inside the package that you're creating. So often we're going to wrap these fillers to get together, ship it down the line to the installation. The guy who wrap it up don't know really if it's togic or filler. Sometimes can use it for the wrong thing, recut it. Now you're telling everybody what's inside of that package, making sure that you control, and into the system, you know exactly what kit that item belongs in. And even if you're doing a delivery of products into pallets, it's the same thing that you can do with the kits, is that you're able to tell what product goes into that pallet, so you know exactly how much pallets you're going to have. Even if you're doing some knockdown cabinets, well, you can specify what parts goes into that kit, that you can create that label to ship it down to your customer. So it really organizes and tells you what it belongs to. One other thing that we're not showing, we didn't talk towards, but we showed it at the end, is being able to control the staging area. So we saw a little bit at the end to be able to stage where the items go before shipping. Well, helps a lot before the shipping, because we know where things are and we know how much package I have to take. So if I created 4 kits into that staging area, well, the shipping department knows that they have 4 kits to grab to be able to load up in the truck. They have that information given into the system. So this is a big thing that helps a lot. Last little step into the factory that we're going to show today, it's really the shipping department. So the shipping department, mostly the most important, because this is where we want to control your mistake, making sure that you load up everything into your truck, mostly everything that you're controlling towards that into the truck and knowing towards that, and avoid putting cabinets from another job into that truck also going through.
We're actually at the last station into the factory, what we call the shipping area. So what we want to do in the shipping area is control what goes into the truck. So first little thing that we do is creating truckloads that we call inside the system. A truckload can be a combination of different work orders. So it doesn't have to be just one work order that you load in the truck. It could be a combination of multiple work order or even service call if needed to. So once you have your truckload created, the operator goes in and selects the truck he wants to load, and he's going to see all the items that he needs to go get. And also using the allocation as we saw before, well, it's easy to know where all the items are in the factory and go get the items needed towards that level. Now, how things is happening is once they're loading up the product, they will scan the item and automatically the system will flash in green if it belongs into that truck, and also update the status to say it's been shipped. Another key point that we want to do is if the operator scans an item that does not belong into that truck, well, automatically by scanning it, the system will flash in red to let me know that this product does not belong in that truckload. So I'm avoiding to have errors and loading items that does not belong in that delivery and have to go back to get the right item. You're controlling what goes into that truck. Other little thing that we want to do is that we're able to generate in real time a shipping report. So I'm loading up into the screen the shipping report that combines every information and what's inside of the truck, what's missing towards that. And I even have a stamp date that shows me when it has been scanned and been loaded into the truck as it goes.
So really, the key again, like you're saying, like we're seeing right there, is really be able to control what goes into the truck, make sure that we have all the items needed, and be able also to say, hey, let's say I decided to deliver my products without my doors. Well, you took the decision to do it that way, and be able to have the information that the doors were not shipped and be able to have a service call job already created into the production assistant for you to follow up again. So you're knowing, it's not surprise, you're taking a decision and you're knowing what's being delivered or not. And if there's missing something, well, you know that what item is missing and where it was into your area to be able to grab it because of the tracking information that you're going to have. So it's really having these kind of information that goes through to control with the shipping department. And a lot of time what we say to people, the shipping department or loading, it's not a race, right? It's to do it correctly, take this time to scan your item as you're going to the truck, because this is your final place that if you do that miss error, it costs you the most of money. So the ROI is really high on taking the time at that level. There's different way of doing the tracking. We can do it with barcode scanning like we're showing there. We do have now the technology of the RFID, but by tower, so we can have like towers both sides of the dock station where you walk it through with your product that's going to be scanned. We also have now the possibility to have like LED lights being on the side of your shipping door. So when you scan an item, it's just not into the screen, but it also flash near the docking door. So it's easier visually of what's happening in that level. So that's kind of things that we're able to help with this. We're not showing it there, but we do have also a web application that allows you to track what goes into the field. So when your people are outside taking out the product from the truck and loading up to the installation area, well, they can also scan with that web application what product are they delivering to the customer over there to follow up with this. So that's a possibility also of a module being there. Yes, Sarah, you have a question, right?
Yes, Jonathan, could you explain how accessories such as a Lazy Susan are added? Because they're not, they don't come from the CAD CAM.
Oh, that's a good question. If they don't come from the CAD CAM, well, there's two possibilities that can be done. Some people will have a list into Excel that they can import and merge information with the system, or you can even add into the production assistant your own items. So let's say, I don't know, you have a special sink that you have to deliver to the customer, but it's not going to be designed to your CAD CAM. Well, you can go in, add a sink with their dimension and be able even to print out a product label for this item for you to track it on. So if it doesn't come from a CAD CAM, you have like a spreadsheet by the side that you can import, you can do it. It's going to merge into that job, or you can manually add the items into production assistant. And at the third level, if you want to, I do have some customer that does have like the ERP or CRM that has all the list of all of these items, and they just combine, they just add directly from the CRM or ERP system the information into production assistant. So they have like the CAD CAM system that gives all the cabinet and etc. And the ERP just throw out all the accessories that are not part of the CAD CAM. That's a last possibility also to be done that way. So I wish this responds to your question there. Let's go in with the key performance indicator. So what's that is that we do have some tools to help if we're achieving goals, having goals, objectives, if you want to. There's two things that we offer. One is going to be the KPI. We're going to show it right there. And the other thing is going to be the dashboard that is mostly more a management aspect for the management team. So
with Production Assistant, we can install what we call KPIs wherever you want into your factory. The goal with the KPI is to measure your lines or your different department with specific goals that they need to achieve in their day. As you're seeing right here, it's pretty much easy for people to see it. It's red if you're behind, green if you're on target. You can see exactly what is your percentage of what you are to your goal of what you need to achieve into your line. As you can see right here, our KPI is installed into the assembly line. So we're measuring once every product has been finished into the line, well, we see the number of these products increasing of what they have to do over there. Now, what's important is that you can install it being at the CNC or different type of department. You can install the KPIs that you wish everywhere, but at least it gives goal for everybody to achieve into their day. And your production manager with these KPIs can walk down and see exactly where he's behind and what type of action we have to do to achieve our goal that we have for today.
So yeah, really the KPIs, key goal for the shop. This is mostly what it's installed in the shop. It's really a simple graphic and measuring product and measuring parts, depending of what you want. Some people will even like an example at the CNC, a lot of people, what they're going to do is going to put a KPI at the CNC, a KPI at the assembly, and they're both going to measure it in product. Why? Because at the end, you're building products, right? So what they want to make sure that you cut enough product that the assembly line will follow. So it's another way of seeing these KPIs to really help into the shop, but you can measure it in different ways if you want to. And we do have also what we call dashboard. So dashboard element is really there more as a management aspect for you to be able to see, okay, how much part did I damage today? How much truck did I ship full today? Where are my bottlenecks into the factory? Being able to say, hey, I do not have enough product going to that line where I have too much product. pending to go to the next station. So please take action. See our performance goal directly at each station if we're achieving or not your goal. So really the dashboard is more management in the office that you're able to visualize. You can drill down also, like when we're talking about damaged part. What is my main reason of my damaged part? What station gives me the most of damaged part, etc. that goes through with this. And KPIs are more screens that you're going to place into the factory going there. Next step that we want to do, just a little summary of what we showed you with the factory right there.
So in conclusion today, with that mid-sized factory that we just visited, they have around 15 production assistant stations everywhere into the factory to be able to track the information and data coming out. As we said before, all the data come in from their CAD/CAM system. In this case, they're using Microvellum, that they're doing all their work orders, their jobs, send down the process to the factory, and with Production Assistant, help them to track and have all the information for everyone into the shop of what they need to do. So the key point today was really be able to, first of all, track the project in real time where it is into the factory. Be able also to get better communication in between the factory and the office. And not just with the factory and the office, but also in between different departments into the factory. Also be able to have time project of how much time it takes to do the work order as it goes through production at these aspects. And eliminating a lot of searching of the parts or objects, because everything is stored into the system, so they have access to know where things are into the factory. These are kind of stuff that really helped a lot the customer to improve their productivity and all the other aspects for them.
So following up, really explain what the production assistant can do. One thing that's really important with the production assistant, it's scalable. You don't have to think about it as being, hey, I have to place everywhere into my factory, scan everywhere. No, let's do it step by step. So you can start by benefit points where it's going to help you and add as you're going to go on these stations that you're going to need towards that. It's scalable and it's adaptable by you also if you want to. You're not stuck with us or doing the development to add the station or that kind of rules. You're going to be able to have the tools to do it also with this. So see it really, where's my key point? How can I grow it? I can install by these station, and then you can add more and more station as you're going through, depending on what you want to track. And one thing that's really important, some people say, hey, I need to track everywhere. Don't see it that way. See it as you need to control and need to track at benefit areas into your factory. Some areas you don't need to scan because it's fast in between one station or another. But some areas you want to scan because you want to control what goes in that and know the status at that one point. So really see it as that level of things. So let's go into the question period. I don't know if there's some question that came in to go through.
Yes, I have one to start with. So if an accessory is added in the CAD/CAM, would it be automated through Production Assistant, or will you still have to add it manually?
No, it's going to be added into the Production System. You're going to pass through the cabinet, the CAD/CAM system into Production Assistant. You don't have to add it manually. Is there some other questions that we can answer? It's time there.
That seems to be it.
Okay, well, if it's it, I really want to thank you all for being there with us today. It's a pleasure always to show you. Wish that you guys learn a little bit more about the Production Assistant. And at the same time, I would like to tell I know there's some customers of ours that are already online. I want to tell you also that starting this month, we're starting a new training into the web. So all people, it's going to be free. So every month we're going to have free training to learn more about the system, help you also do some more aspect or sometimes think about, oh yeah, I can do that kind of thing with the system. That's going to help me at that area of things. So every month, just follow up towards that. We're sending an inscription for you to be able to participate on our training on the system, Production Assistant, and others that we have there for you to go online with this. So thank you very much, everybody, and I wish you all a good end of day towards this. And if you have some question or want to have more information about our product or talk to us, well, write us at info@web-cab.com. It's going to be a pleasure to answer. Thank you.